Alright, so we're going to be doing a quick video here, and this should be for your second character. So we'll basically be adding the bones to our character here. And this will just be a quick one because we're going to be doing just half of the body. Alright, so if you're looking at your template, this is how all the bones should look, and we'll be going through that next here. So we're going to have click on shift here. So for the body, we're going to be adding this bone, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and the one at the top. So let me go back here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there'll be 6 bones that'll be associated. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the one at the top here. All right, and this is just a layout, so you can kind of look at what we're going to be doing. And all these are going to be associated with the body, like so. All right. The next one we're going to do would be the bones for the left arm, and that's going to be these 3 that you see highlighted here, and they're all going to be associated with the left arm, like so. The right arm, you're going to have 3 again, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3. All 3 of these are going to be associated with the right arm. And then lastly here, we'll have that hand. So 1 bone is going to be associated with the left hand, which is here. And lastly, we'll have 1 bone that's associated with the right hand, which will be this bone here, and that'll be, so all together you're gonna have 5 pieces. You'll have the body, 1, left arm, 2, right arm, 3, left hand, 4, and right hand, which will be 5. So it's going to be a real quick, easy one. So let's go ahead and start a new, and we'll grab all our pieces that we need. We'll just click here, and we'll click on image, and then we'll bring in all our pieces that we need. Alright, so again, it'll be 5. So we have our body and our left arm and the right arm and left hand, and then the right hand, like so. Alright, so now we have all our pieces here. We're going to go ahead and create a group. Just go here and left click on new layer, and we'll click on left click on group. And what we'll do here is we can start to label these. So let's go ahead and separate these out. So this one here is going to be the right hand, and I'll just label this RH. Next here, we're going to have the left hand, and I'm going to label that LH. Next here, we're going to have the left arm, and I'm going to label that LA. Next here, we're going to have the right arm. I'm going to label that RA. And then lastly, we'll have the body. And we'll just label that body. Alright. So first what we want to do is we want to get all our pivot points or axis points, which you'll see for each one. So for our body, you see where this little X is, that's where the turn is going to be. So that's that pivot point here. But we want to move that, and we're going to move it between where these legs end, right in between here. And we'll just click on set origin and left click there like so. Alright, and we can check to make sure it's right where we want it. Yep, pivot point is right where we want it. Alright, next one here, we are going to do the arm, and we want this pivot point here to be right here, right where the joint would be for the body to the arm, right? So we'll left click on set origin, and left click again here where we want it, and that looks good there. And let's go ahead and move it in place. You can put this on top of the body like so. Alright, next thing here, we'll get the left arm situated as well. So click on the left arm. We want to change this origin point, so we'll click on set origin again, left click on that, and then left click right where you want it to be, where that joint would be right about there, like so. And let's move that into place as well on top, right about there, like that. Alright, next here we will get our hand situated with the pivot, and that's all wrong, it's in the middle. We want it right where the joint would be, so right about here. So we'll left click on set origin, left click where we want that to be, right there, and we're all good. And let's go ahead and move that into place like so on tip, right there. And same thing for the right arm, hand, right hand, and we'll get that pivot point. So we'll click on left click on set origin, and then we'll left click right where we want that pivot to be, so right there. Check to make sure that's right where we want it. Yep. And let's go ahead and get that put on top like so. Okay, good enough. Check this one. Good enough. Alright, so we also have an origin point to set for the overall group, right? So let's get all of these into this group here, and we can label this group character 1, and then you're going to see it has a pivot point as well, right? So we're going to take that, and we want that to be right where we did the body. So we'll go ahead and click here, origin, and right below here is where we want it, right where we did the one for the body. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get all our pieces into that group. So we'll just move this up into the group like so. We don't need this for delete. Okay. So right now, to check to see that they're all in where we want them to be. There we go. Character. Yep, that's where we want everything to be. Alright. So we can shrink this down a little bit. And this outline here is just a frame. It's the camera frame. So that's what the camera will see. Alright, so now that we got everything where we want them, now we're going to add bones. And to do that, we're going to have to change this group layer into a bone layer. So we'll go here to this layer here, left click on that to highlight it, and then when we right click, we go down and we're going to convert it to bone. So left click on that once, and now you'll see that turn into the bone layer. Alright, now we can start making bones for our character. So the first bone we're going to set here is going to be at the bottom. So we're going to go here and where it says add bone. So left click on that, and then our first bone, we're going to have it set from this point going out. So you're going to hold down, left click here, and then you're going to pull it to the right, like so. Okay, so now we got our first bone. Alright, next we're going to do another bone here, and we're going to be going up this time. So this origin point here, we're going to go ahead and left click on that and hold it, and we'll bring it all the way up to right here where the stomach would be. Alright, so that's our pivot point. So from the stomach, we're going to go all the way up again. So you're going to left click and then hold, and then bring it all the way up to right where the throat would start, which is right about there. Alright, then we're going to make one from the middle of the throat to the neck. So we'll go ahead and left click and hold, and then just bring that up and then release like that. Alright, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 bones set up. Now we're going to do some shoulder bones, and to do that we want it to be lined up here, right? So what we're going to do is we go to select bone, and we click this middle bone here. So anything that we attach to this bone is going to be associated as part of the joint. Alright, so the reason why we click this is we want those bones to be parented by this middle bone. So now we're going to click on add bone again, and we're going to, I would say right about here, we're going to start, and then left click and hold it, right, go to the right, and then the joint where you want that joint to be. So we want that joint to stop right about there, right? And then we're going to do this again just for the other shoulder. So we're going to have to go back here and click where it says select bones, and then we'll go back here, and because we want this to be the parent of the other shoulder bone, and then we're going to go add bone again and left click and hold, and then bring it out right where we want that joint to be, like right about there, right? So that's what it should look like. So all of these bones that we created are going to be associated with the body. Alright, and to do that we're going to go back here to select bone, and there's only one bone highlighted, right, which is highlighted red. But we need all of these bones here to be associated with the body. All right, to do that, you're going to go here and just click Shift, like so. And then you're going to click on all the bones you want to associate with the body. So that's all the bones that we created. And if you want, at the beginning, you can go back to the template that I showed you of what's going to be associated, right? So now that we got them all selected, we're going to go and select this body layer like so. All right, and then what we'll do is we're going to go to the menu at the top, and we're going to go over to the bone, and we're going to left click on that once, and then we're going to go down to where it says use select bone for flex binding. And what that means is all the bones that were selected, we want to make sure that layer, this layer here, the body layer, is going to be able to do flex binding, meaning just basically movements. All right, so we're just going to left click that once, like so. All right, you should see this turn from a normal red to a more bold red once you have done that correctly. All right, so we're all done with the body, and we're going to go back to the bone layer at the top. All right, make sure that we go and just click on any bone here, because we want to start over for the next part here. All right, so we're going to be making the bones for the arm, and it'll be this left bone. All right, so we have this red bone, which is already highlighted. That means that this is going to be the parent of the next bone we create. So we'll go here and to add bone, and we will have it right where the point starts, right where that joint is, and you left click and hold, bring it to right where you think the elbow would be, right about there, right? So stopping at that point. Now we're going to make another bone for the forearm. So we're going to go from this elbow right to where we think the wrist would start. All right, so left click again, and then left click. When you left click, you'll hold it, and then you'll just bring it right where that wrist would be, so right about there. All right, now that we have that done, we are going to associate the bones that we just created for the left arm. All right, so to do that, we'll go back here to select bone, like so. We'll click here where it says shift, and then we already have this one highlighted, but we want to highlight these two. All right, and at the beginning you can go back to the template from the beginning to check that, see which ones are here. So we're going to click on that one's already selected. We're going to select this one and this one, like so. All right, then we have to associate all three of these bones with the particular layer, which is the left arm layer, which is this layer here. Oh, did I label these incorrectly? Left arm should be this one, right arm. Okay, yep, we did. So let's correct this. This is actually LA, left arm, and this one is RA, right arm. All right, there we go. All right, so now that we labeled the correct arm, make sure Alright, so all three of these bones are going to be associated with the left arm. Alright, so we'll highlight this here, that layer, go back to our menu, and you left click on the bone, like so, and we're going to click on the same thing we did for the body. So we want to use selected bones for flex binding. So all three of those bones, we want flex binding for the left arm layer. Alright, so just click this once like so, and you should see it highlight like that. Alright, so we did that one. So now let's go ahead and do the other arm here. So we're going to go back to the bone layer like so, and you're going to go back to where it says select, and then we're going to select this bone here. Right, so we want to make sure this bone is going to be the parent of the next bone we create for the right arm. So we'll click here, and then we'll go back here to the add bone, right? And where this pivot point is, we're going to start the bone, and then you'll just left click and hold it, and then go right to the middle of the arm, the elbow, where we think the elbow will be, right about there. Then we're going to do another bone like we did for the left arm. We're going to left click and hold it and bring it all the way down to where we think the wrist is going to be, right about there, right there. Alright, so now we got our right bones created for the right arm. We'll go back to where it says select bones, left click on that, then we're going to click shift here because we need to have all three of these bones highlighted for the arm. So when we click shift, it allows us to pick more than one bone. Alright, so we have this one already selected. We need to just select this one and this one, like so. Alright, then we go to the right arm layer, and we're going to go back to the menu and then click on left click on the bone like so, and then we'll go down to the same one where we want to use select bones for flex binding, and you'll just left click like so, these highlighted, and we're all done with the right arm. Alright, so only two more bones to go, and that's going to be for the hand. So let's go ahead, since we are on this side here, we're going to add another bone, and to do that we got to go to the bone layer at the top, just left click on that, and then we're going to left click on add bone one time, and then we're going to just left click and hold and bring it out to where the hand would extend, so just like that. Alright, and then since we have only one bone that's going to be associated with the hand, go to the right hand layer like so, left click on that, then we'll go back to the bone top where the menu is and left click on that once, go all the way down again to use selected bones for flex binding. That means that that particular bone for that hand is what we're going to use for flex binding, which is just movement. So left click on that one time, should highlight, and that's done for the right hand. Now we're going to do the last bone here for the left hand. So we'll go ahead and left click on this layer, right? And that's going to be the last one we do. So to create a bone, we go to the bone layer. We're going to go over here to add bone again. Make sure this is highlighted because we need this bone, the next bone we create, to be parented to this bone here. So click select bone, make sure that's highlighted. And then we go to add bone, left click on that. Right where this point is, we're going to just left click and hold it and bring it all the way out past the hand like we did for the right hand. And then lastly here we go to the left hand layer, which is here. Highlight that. We go back to the menu at the top, left click on bone, and do the same thing we did before. We want to associate that particular bone with this layer, and we'll just click on use selected bone for flex binding. Left click on that once and it should highlight, and there you go. Okay, so we have all our bones. So let's see, check some movement here. So what I'll usually do here, I'm going to go to this frame 2 and you just click anywhere and it'll make a marker for you, and then I'll go all the way down to frame number 9 and then click anywhere again. So now you just got these 2 points, start and then the finish point. So let's go back to we'll start moving at 3. Alright, so if we go to our bone layer here, now that try to check to make sure all the bones are correctly in place like we want, we go to click here where it says transfer bone, and since we're not on the first frame anymore, we're in frame 3. Now you'll be able to see the movement. Alright, so let's go ahead and just click on this bone here, and then you just move to left. So click on left click, and then move it like so. Alright, so stomach part is right where the bend is. Go to the next one here. Just can bring it up like so. Then go to the next one, and we'll bring it like there, like so. Go to the next one, bring it up like so. Then next one here, down like so. Alright, so CB does some exercise. So you can also, what you can do is if you want to kind of loop a frame, you can come in here and just click on control and then left click where you want it to start. So I wanted to start on this frame 3, and if I left click, it'll create a green marker. So just make sure you're on this blue line here. So left click once, you'll see a green marker. Then I want to go down to frame 7, and then you right click and you'll see an end marker. Alright, so what it'll do is it'll just loop between these frames, and to do that, control left click to for the beginning, then right click for the end. Alright, so it'll just loop. So we'll just see if the character exercises or not here. Alright. Alright, good. Alright, now we can check the other bones since we have doing exercises. Now let's check out the shoulder here. Okay, good. This shoulder here. Okay. Neck, we don't have to worry about that now. There's no head yet. This bottom part where we had the pin, you can move this side to side and it'll just be for the character. For the bone part here, this as well. So just pivot it on that point. Stomach, bend, right? Shoulder, and then the arm. So when you first put the bone in the arm and you bend like that, it's going to look rubbery, and we're going to fix that on the next video that we do when we add the head and everything. But we just want to make sure that that bend is where we want it there. And then also check the hand, right? So, and we're going to do something with the hand a little bit different as well, because same way we have this shoulder kind of pushed together, you can do the same thing for the hand. So what you could do is associate this bone and this bone with the hand, so it's just not spinning like so. All right, so let's go back to frame 1, and what we can do is we can change the association. So we'll go here where it says select bone, and then we'll click here on the shift, and then click on this bone here, and this one is already highlighted, and then we're going to associate that with the right arm, right hand. So we'll highlight the right hand layer, which is the RA, and then we'll go ahead and go to the menu, go to bone, just left click, and then go down where it says use selected bones for flex binding, and then you just left click on that once, like so. Alright, so now the association, the hand shouldn't spin. So let's, well, it's spinning like that because we already created an action, but let's go ahead and see if that changed the way it moves. Yeah, so on that one we would probably have to do a lot of changes. So let's go back, and to clear everything that you created, you can just go here where it says animation, left click on that, and then go down to clear animation, and we just need to clear from layer and current frame. So just left click on that once, and then agree, and it'll erase everything for you. So now we're going to go and put this hand back, not associated with this arm. So we'll go ahead and click here, select bone, click just that bone by itself. Then we're going to go to the right hand layer, like so, and then we're going to click on the bone at the top of the menu, and then left click on use selected bones for flex binding, and it should bring it back to normal like we had it before. So let's see. I think we broke it. That's right, we have to clear this one out too. So it remembers that this bone was associated with the other one. So let's go back and clear this out again. Yes. And then we're going to go here to the bone, and then we're going to go select bone, like so. And we're going to click on shift, then 1, 2, that's already highlighted. Right arm, we're going to click on this like so, and then you select bone flex binding. See if that fixed it. Okay. Oh, I see what I did there. There we go. Alright, so fixed it back to the way it was. Alright. So now if you want to go and kind of play around with, you know, the movements, we'll be able to fix the hand. So basically next video we're going to be working on this, and then the fingers, and what we're going to do with the fingers, and then stopping the wrist from, you know, moving too far. What I can show you really quick here is when you want to change how strong the bones are, what you can do here, make sure we start at the beginning frame. Whatever bone you select, so you go here where it says select bone, and then you click on any bone that you want to adjust, and you go here where it says bone strength. So if you left click on that, you'll see these kind of outlines here for each one of the bones. So if you left click on that, this is the one we have highlighted, and you bring it down or up, it'll bring the strength of the bone either high or very low. So if we go a little bit lower, a lot thicker, let's see what happens when we animate it. So if you're looking at the way this would bend, technically if you wanted to keep it that way you could, but the one we're going to do, it's going to change. So this bone strength is a lot less than it was before, right? So let's go and do it again. We'll go to the beginning and go to select bone and click on this one here, and let's see the strength. So the strength on this one is high, right? So if you left click and just slide it to the left, you'll see the strength go from this is strong to not very strong. Alright, so let's see what that made, what adjustments that made here. Okay, so when we change this bone, we change the strength. You can see that it went back to kind of like that bendy kind of thing, right? Because both of these are moved to the same strength. So if I go back and let's select this bone here and change the strength. So you left click on that, and then left click and then hold it, and then I'm going to bring it out like so. Alright, so let's see what that did. So this bone strength is super crazy now, right? And shoulders do adjust. Alright, so again, you can play around with this all you like. The next video we're going to go over the fingers and our second character, and then making the your script, and then we'll do some like props and things like that. They don't have to be exactly like the ones that I have created, but on the stream you can just show and see what you decide to do there as well. And then we'll finalize writing up the script for the last part. All right. So right now, leave this exactly like it is, like so. And again, you can play around with it and, you know, test things if you like. Oh, the other thing is when we go back and we have this highlighted for the layer, if we want to make the adjustment for the layer, which is this box here, you will click here. Remember the pivot point we created, right? And this is how you change the let me make sure you can change it from small to big, right? So if we bring this down like so, it means the layer is still highlighted, but we're in this layer menu here, not in bone. So right now we can make things big or small. So let's, and it's not going to be the bones that are creating those movements. It's going to be the layer itself, right? So, and those are separate from when we go here to start moving bones, right? Growing big or small, we're going to use this layers, so everything's moving together, right? And because our pivot point is the same place, if you're doing something where, you know, the character is falling over, those adjustments will be here instead of the bone layers. So then you can, you know, make all kinds of actions. If you want to move these little outlines out of the way, you can just click on here, this box here, where it says show curves, and it'll remove it for you. So you can kind of get a picture of, you know, let's make them back normal here. There we go. So, alright, so again, thank you for watching the videos. If you guys have any questions, you can send them to the email or put it in the chat. If you if you're doing the characters exactly like my characters and you need me to send those to you again, definitely let me know in the email, or you can put it in the comments. And YouTube, I appreciate you guys that are signing up. I will be more than likely finished with the portion of the feature in February, so you guys will get a look at that for my, you know, character and different things I'm going to be doing. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are, and thanks again for watching the video.